Today I want to focus on making a simple text animation. So what we're going to create today is something like this, where we just have a rotation and a scale animation of a couple letters. And this is a way of animating that I use quite often. Uh, I also used it in my own logo. Here you can see the same effect, only a bit slower and a bit of more wiggle. But in the basis it's the same as what we're going to create now. So let's dive in and create a new file. So our first step is to create a text. So I have a text here. I'll type simple. And I'm going to use the font Bangers. Just a font I kind of like. Oh, yeah, that's it. There we go. And I like to align it in the middle. Just makes more sense for me. And get a basic cap going. Doesn't really matter a lot because we're going to do flat shading. It's always a good practice to have that. So then our first material is going to be just a black. So I'm going to create a redshift material, just a normal one. I'll double click it, call it black matte. I'll apply it and select it. Make sure the color, and you can get the reflection out. So it's all the way black. And keep the reflection on. Just give it a little bit different color. And what I then want to do is make sure I have a dome light. And as we render now, you can see I have a white background and a black lettering. So that's perfect. Then what I want to do is break down. Now you can see it's one object. So I'll press C. It makes it editable. And then we can just pull this out. Put the material in there. And now you can see we have separate letters. So to get started, I'll make sure I just have one. It's the S. And what I want to do is I want to animate the rotation. So make sure I have it selected, go to coordinates and find the proper rotation for it. And I think it's this one. So what I like to do is if you go -90, it's all the way flat. I'll like to go -100 or maybe 110 even. So it's a little bit more down there. And make sure I'm on the first frame. And click here to create a keyframe. Then I dive in. And if you put it on 0, it is exactly at the begin point. What I like to do is I like to have it overshoot a little bit. So let's say 10. Then 2 frames after that, -5. And then on 14, it lands on 0. I'm going to shorten the timeline a bit. It's now 90 frames. I'm going to put it on 30. And if I play it now, you already have the basis of the animation. So it just pops into place. You can play around with how fast things go by just dragging these out, getting something you like. So for me, this is perfect. And another thing which is always nice is to animate the scale. So it comes out of nothing and then it comes into existence. So I like to put the scale on 0. Go to frame 4. And well, maybe first to 10. Make sure it's all scaled in again. And then on 4, let's put the Y already on 1. So we get this stretching effect. Let's see how that looks. Perfect. So this is the basis of our animation. What we now want to do is we want to copy this set of keyframes and paste them on the other letters and space it out by 2 frames. So we start with the eye. If I click here, it opens my timeline. Otherwise, you can find it here. It's under timeline dope sheet. So I start with the eye. I start with the S. I can just drag it in. Yeah, maybe I can select them all. It's a bit better. Like so. I don't like how this looks. So remove all objects. Let's try that again. A bit more ordered. Like so. I activate them all. What you can do is select the keyframes here. Select the eye and paste them. And as you still have them selected, you can offset it. The same for the M. Again, offset it. P, L, E. And by just dragging and selecting, you can offset the frames like so. Perfect. So let's see how that looks. If this is the look that we want. Perfect. So this is what we want, a simple text animation. It kind of feels for me like a 2D animation. So it's not really using all the dimensions. So with that in mind, I like to drop in a camera. Make sure you're in the camera. And then go to the object settings. And we're going to put it on front view. So it's more flat. Scale it in. Make sure that you have good framing. Center. Yeah. Does it break the frame? Yeah. So zoom out a bit, like so. Perfect. This is our animation. Now the only thing that we want to do is make sure we have good settings. So I like to go in my render settings. For now we keep the resolution like so. Put it on all frames. We're going to put it on redshift. Double check the settings. It's okay. And for render settings, we're just going to use PNG. You can use an alpha. For now, I'm just going to use the background that it comes with. And I'm not going to create a save location, but you can save it to your hard disk. So for me now, it's just going to render and not save. For the sake of this tutorial, I'll put it on low instead of medium. Make sure I have motion blur, and normally you have global illumination on. For the speeding up of this tutorial, I'll put it off. That's it. I can render it. Yes. Perfect. So we have the same animation as here. You can see that the colors are a bit different because it's using ACES, but you can correct that later in After Effects. So thanks for watching, and yeah, good luck with it.